Good morning, YouTube. It's 10 a.m. in the great state of Texas, and we're doing a little bit of a throwback project on this week's project. So last year, I did something very similar to this. This is actually left over from that actual project. If you guys can hear it, my dog is using the dog door, so I apologize for that, but she's got to go out and potty. But anyway, back to the video. So this is just leftover tinsel that I had from a couple of projects. I think it was about 2 years ago. We had taken this cool tinsel, put it in a bowl, put some epoxy in it, and it actually turned out pretty well. So I learned from the previous mistakes of that old video where I just ended up throwing that all in there, and I didn't ended up putting it in there with a wire. But this time I learned just to go back, take all the tinsel off itself, and then put it on the side of the bowl. The other big part of the project that we learned was the waste block. So when I started doing these epoxy projects, I would say about year 2 or 3, I would leave this giant piece of pine in all of these epoxy blanks. And we typically will use the blanks themselves to kind of help reduce the amount of resin that we have to use, because resin is kind of pricey, and if you're just doing pure resin blanks on some of these larger projects, it can be a little pricey. So the pine is there to kind of like, make a void and to prevent from having to use as much epoxy as you typically would. So 4.5 hours in the pressure pot. I learned about a year ago to take a small piece of epoxy and actually lift that piece of pine above that just a little bit. It will do the same effect, but you won't have this nasty piece of pine. And if you go back and watch some of my older videos, you can see that we'll finish the project, we'll use the waste block, but there's like this really ugly piece of pine board that'll be on the bottom, and it really takes away from the aesthetic. So I'm glad we kind of learned that technique, and maybe one day when this channel is sponsored, we can just get rid of waste blocks altogether, and we won't have to worry about the cost of resin. But we're still working toward that goal, obviously. So got this onto the lathe, put the faceplate on there, obviously, and now we're just going back and working down the material. So from what I could remember, not a whole lot of issues with this project. Like I said, in a couple of projects that you guys are watching for 2023, I actually had like 20 videos built up. So this is actually the first time I'm watching this all the way through. And if you saw earlier, you could see that I took the tinsel off that little bit of a wire. Even though that's just aluminum, those little pieces of aluminum, when they do hit your chisels, they'll tend to chip or make little dents in your actual carbide. So took that out, made it a lot easier. Now we're just coming back, making a mortise and getting this all, level and even, so we can start to flip this over and actually start the gouging portion of it itself. And I did this project, I want to say, around early December. You guys are watching this in March and April, obviously. Had a lot of time in December to come back and make some of these projects. Obviously, with the holiday, we had a lot of time off. So you guys are watching this in March, obviously. But here we go, taking down this piece of pine board here. Not a whole lot of problems with this one. I just got done doing a commentary video for a video you guys are going to watch later on where I completely have a disaster happen. So I'm just waiting for something disastrous to happen on this one. But from what I can remember, there weren't any real big issues with this project. And the dog is coming back through the dog door after being outside. Welcome back, Murphy. And she's looking at me now. But anyway, back to the video commentary. Not a whole lot of problems I can remember from this one. I think everything went pretty well. I think I might have a little bit of chip out a little bit later in the video once I start the gouging portion. I mean, here's the other big reason why we like to use giant pieces of pine as far as waste blocks, because pine is a very soft wood, so when you're using the chisels and everything, it just gouges out really nice, and then you can come back with the round carbide tool and just remove the edge and make the lip of the bowl the way that you want it to be. So that's another good reason to use pine, but it does take away from the aesthetic of the bowl. And a little bit later on in the year, we're going to do get back to making a combination of wood and epoxy projects. If you go back and watch some of my earlier videos, I used to do a lot of just messy bowls where I would just take scrap wood, throw that into some epoxy, and then just turn it down. But we've kind of gotten away from that a little bit. only because we've gotten better with using epoxy. And I actually do one of those projects on a smaller scale, but it turned out almost disastrous for me. So got to get back to using all that stuff. But here we are. Here it is, just like a little bit of chip out. It's barely anything, so it's not like catastrophic failure or anything. So pretty easy to fix. Just wanted to show you guys that. I think this is like the worst thing that happens on this project is just like a little bit of chip out, but you just come back, make small strokes with the tools, and then you won't have any real problem with it. So this actually didn't take any time at all to fix. So coming back and just taking off material, taking the glove off, getting a feel for what the epoxy feels like, and we're just pretty happy with where we're at now. So here we are after all that. Here's all of the shavings all over the floor, all over the garage. Actually, this isn't the garage, the little workshop here. Can't remember if I was happy with like the depth of the bowl. I think I come back and like off camera maybe end up taking off a little bit more material. But here we go. Favorite part now, sanding, going all the way from 340, 320, somewhere around there, and then going all the way up to 1500, and then coming back doing the wet sanding. This is where you make your money, obviously, and you can see the bottom of where it's attached to the headstock there. No nasty pine board, so that makes it a lot easier. And now we're just polishing it up using that wood wax that we like to use on the channel. Turned out really good. You can see how crystal clear and glassy it kind of is. So really happy how this turned out. Like I said, go back, watch the, hunt through the hundreds of videos that I have. Hunt through, find the old video, and you can really tell the difference in how, aesthetically pleasing it is when you don't have that giant piece of pine board on there. And we've gotten better about polishing epoxy too on the channel. So overall, really happy how this turned out. So you guys are watching this in either March or April of 2023. So hope everybody's having a good first, quarter of their year, doing pretty well in 2023. But that's basically it. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, there it is, end product. Looks great. Really like that. Plus, I like this little wheel thing that I got for the channel. So hope you guys like it as well. Catch you in the next one. All right, peace. All right, so project is done, and here we are. A cool confetti kind of bowl. So today is I can't even talk. Today is December 9th, 2022. You guys are watching this all the way in March of 2023. We are getting these projects knocked out for 2023 because I don't know what the work schedule is going to be like. And I'm trying to grow the channel exponentially in 2023. I really want to focus a lot more on more projects, doing different kinds of stuff. So I did this back like maybe a year ago, but it had that nasty waste block in it. And now we've gotten rid of that. We've gotten better in our technique. So really cool bowl. Not a whole lot of problems on this one. Went fairly smooth. You saw that little chip out that we had earlier. I'm sure I went over that in the commentary. But overall, really happy how this one turned out. Not too bad. So hope you guys liked it. Hope you got something out of it. Hope everybody's doing well in 2023. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe right there or right there, wherever that little logo is. Nobody makes it to the end anyway, but I guess I'll see you guys in the next one. All right, peace.